22 laps of the national circuit here at Silverstone. Gareth Howell starts on his first ever pole position. Can he convert it into victory? Wait for the lights to go out, it's a quick change, and Gareth Howell, Tom Chilton and Dan Eaves all pull away very evenly. Good start from Colin Turkington and Ivan Muller. Both Vauxhalls are away well, but the race lead, I think, Gareth Howell as he heads down towards Copse Corner. No, Chilton squeezes past, and both Vauxhalls are going well. Ivan Muller's up to third, I think. Turkington got squeezed out of it through Copse Corner, but what a mega start from the Frenchman Ivan Muller. He's in third place.
Well, that just worked out perfectly for him. He got a great start, ran up the inside, and the field just parted for him. Chilton got away a little bit better than Howell and had the inside overlap in the first corner. A lot of good racing and passing already.
Yeah, and Matt Neal is right down in the midfield there. Look at the two leaders side by side. It's the Honda Civic Type R, the black car of Tom Chilton, the orange car of pole sitter Gareth Howell, and they're still side by side as they go into the left-hander of Brooklands. Oh, it's great racing between them. Chilton has the advantage narrowly through into Luffield. Ivan Muller in fourth place under pressure from James Pickford. Slide there from Rob Collard, and it's Matt Neal right in the middle of all that. We're on board with Matt, and he's just behind Jason Plato, having had a bit of contact with Collard. Yeah, and so Ivan Muller, oh, Pickford makes a mistake there, runs wide, gathered that together very well, but that was a little mistake from Pickford, and it's just given a little margin there to Ivan Muller as he heads up towards Beck. It's Howell, Gareth Howell from second's made a big mistake, and Ivan Muller's taking second. Gareth Howell just braked too late, and Pickford's going to take third.
Yeah, Gareth braked obviously a little bit late, slightly colder rear tyres, and it just went round on him on the damper part of the track. Muller and Pickford straight through.
Let's take another look at the start.
Yeah, watch Muller left of your screen, ducks inside the Halfords car, then he's got a bit of a squeeze. Can he get through past the Seat? Yes, he does. And then he's got his teammate Turkington on his outside, but he braves it out down the inside and takes through Matt Neal and Dan Eaves. And Turkington gets a rub with Eaves as well.
Great racing on the national circuit at Silverstone. Chilton has the line into the left-hander for the lead, holds on to it for the moment, and Ivan, cool tyres, sliding a lot there. Muller just holding on to third, and in fact Howell's been muscled out as a result of that.
Yeah, the two Seats of Hines and Plato, who were side by side behind them, they were trying to get in on the party. Look at that contact there between, that looks like Howell and Hines, I think.
No, I think it's Plato, actually. Let's just take a look at how that happened. It was all getting very defensive. Muller held everybody up well, and Howell squeezed out to the edge.
Yeah, and a good move there by Turkington to get down the inside. The gap had opened up by Muller. That's the problem down that straight. If you hold the inside and the car goes trying to overtake, goes on the outside, he's nowhere to go.
Tom Chilton continues to lead from James Pickford in second place, Ivan Muller third, Colin Turkington in fourth. For Vauxhall, this is a much better situation. They've now got Colin oh, what a big slide from Matt Neal, championship leader, and he's been passed there. He's been passed by Gavin Smith, so Matt Neal has lost a couple of places because James Kay's also gone.
Yeah, and Collard as well.
And Plato now going on the attack as they come down into Copse Corner, and it looks as though it's going to be a simple move for Jason Plato to move into third place.
Yeah, I think Muller gave him that. He obviously saw the rate at which Plato had caught him and decided rather than fight him and then possibly drop back into the clutches of the other Seats and end up losing more places, he sensibly, I think, let Plato pass, losing himself the minimum amount of time. He'll try and use Plato's draft now to stay in front of the other cars. He knows Matt Neal's having a bad race. Very sensible driving and probably instruction from the team as well.
Here comes Tom Chilton into the final proper corner on this national circuit, and it's Chilton who's going to take his fourth win of 2005 and back-to-back victories at Silverstone, because it was here last year that he took his first ever win, and he crosses the line with a little swerve of delight. Second goes to James Pickford, third to Jason Plato. Good drive from him. Muller holds on to fourth, Howell takes fifth place, and then it's Luke Hines ahead of Colin Turkington, James Kay, and here comes Matt Neal, and he has to settle for ninth position. Not quite what we expected. So Tom Chilton takes victory ahead of Pickford and Plato. Ivan Muller of the championship rivals comes out ahead. He finishes in fourth, but Matt Neal can only finish in ninth position.
Tom, you're making a bit of a habit of this, aren't you? Your fourth win. I can't believe it. 4th win and 8th podium. It seems to me like a bad weekend's a 3rd for myself in Arena Motorsports, so can't complain.
Were you a little bit worried when James Pickford sort of nestled up your boot?
Yeah, he got very, very close at one point, and that's when every inch counts, and you really have to keep your head down and keep it smooth. And I managed to maintain the gap.
9th. Were you a bit disappointed with that? You had a big slide and lost some places.
I think I had a lot of big slides, didn't I? Yeah, very disappointed, especially to see Ivan disappearing off into the distance. I think the only positive of that one, it was a fairly clean race, which is what I was worried about to start with. But, you know, it's all to play for. We're getting the weight out for the next race. So it's just had a long discussion with the engineers and chief mechanic and see what we can do to the car for the next one.
Thank you very much indeed, Matt. Thanks a lot. Let's have a look then at the championship standings after round 25. And Matt's moved on to 279 points, but Ivan has closed the gap to 24 points with 5 rounds still to go in the championship. Let's move straight on now to round 26 and join our lovely commentary team, Tim and Ben.
Thanks, Vicky. Well, this is how they line up for the second race of the day. Tom Chilton on pole, but carrying maximum ballast. Then it's James Pickford and Jason Plato. The Seats are looking fast. Ivan Muller starts in 4th place ahead of Gareth Howell. But watch out for Matt Neal. Can he do something special? He's starting from 9th place on the grid. Round 26 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship set to get underway here at Silverstone. Can Tom Chilton make it 2 out of 2, or will he be beaten by the Seats? Away we go, and it's a good start from Chilton. A terrible start by James Pickford. Jason Plato moves immediately into 2nd, and Ivan Muller is going to take 3rd. Oh, there's contact mid-grid, and I think they got away with it. I think they managed to keep going. They did. Muller's in 3rd, Turkington's in 4th, Howell and Pickford right behind them, and James Pickford made an awful start.
Yeah, great shame. He had a perfect opportunity to slough in behind Chilton, but he didn't take it. It's Plato and Muller who jumped in front of him. Chilton got a good start, but it's as we expected. Plato and Muller challenging already.
Look at the view from 3rd place man Ivan Muller as Chilton defends busily into Cobb's corner, right over the curve, and look at Muller, he had a great run, and we touch the back of Jason Plato as we come out of Cobb's corner, riding on board with Ivan Muller. Oh, and it's actually going to lose out to Gareth Howell. Gareth Howell's got the inside into Beckett's now as a result of that little bit of contact. Muller won't be happy about that, but he's been pushed down to 4th. Gareth Howell taking 2nd place from Jason Plato. He's alongside him. Can he hold on to it into Luffield? Oh, Plato's hit him! Plato's hit Gareth Howell. Great recovery by Gareth, but Plato holds on to the place, and Muller's trying to squeeze back past Plato. On board with Ivan Muller. The 2 leaders just ahead. Jason Plato moving to the inside. Look how he's all... Oh, they made contact on the straight! And Chilton's backwards on the straight. Would you believe it? Howell's come into 2nd. Plato leads the race, and Muller is still 3rd.
Well, I mean, Chilton was defending the inside, and it was almost inevitable, I guess, that contact be made. Fortunately, Chilton's kept going, and incredibly hasn't lost 2, but there's more contact there with Collard leading on one of the Halfords cars. Is that Matt Neal? It is Matt Neal. That's not a situation, so contact all over the place at the moment.
Plato leads, 2nd place for Gareth Howell now, 3rd for Ivan Muller, 4th is James Pickford. And let's just take a look at that incident again.
This is on board Plato. Chilton's defending the inside. He's trying to get up the inside. He's got a little bit of extra speed on him, a little bit of extra speed. Contact made there, and it's at an angle, and that just turns the car. And, well, Chilton was a passenger all the way through that one.
Yeah, this is good racing down the National Straight towards the left-hander. Muller comes through in 3rd, then who's going to be 4th? And Matt Neal's on the inside, and he's taken 4th place. Matt Neal comes from nowhere, but he gets a bit of a clout from Luke Hines. More contact, would you believe it? And Matt Neal busily trying to sort all this out. He's trying to drive for the championship, and now he's been hit. Oh, now he's been knocked off. He's been knocked off. He just stays out of the wall, but Matt Neal has got to get back on. He's had no non-finishes at all this year. Could this be his first non-finish? Well, no, he's back on circuit, but he's way down.
Well, it was all going on. It looked like that was working perfectly for Matt Neal. This is the end of it with Collard up behind him, pushing him wide. Collard had got slightly up the inside in Luffield, but just kept pushing, and round he went.
He missed that wall by inches, Tim.
Well, so close. That's the resultant damage to Collard's car. He's got an interesting view. Looks like a wide-mouthed basking shark, doesn't it? It's a new model MG. And here comes Collard into the pits.
Yes, and somebody else coming into the pits, that is Muller. Ivan Muller is into the pits. Well, this is huge, hugely important, because Ivan Muller looked as though he was going to close the gap in the championship, but he's into the pits.
What's gone on there then, Mike?
I believe a drive shaft has broken. I don't know whether there was any contact with anybody. He was running on his own, so I can't believe there was. It looks like just a simple mechanical failure, unfortunately, which is most unfortunate.
Ivan Muller is out of the race, and that could be the final blow in the championship. It's Plato who's going to win the second race of the day at Silverstone in a hard, uncompromising style. Plato takes the victory, and it's going to be, I think, a 1-2 for Seat, because it's Luke Hines who's going to take second place. Who's going to be third? It's Gavin Smith. Gavin Smith takes third place. Fourth for Dan Eves. Matt Neal holds on for fifth, and suddenly things looking much better for him, with Ivan Muller failing to finish. Confirmation of that result, Jason Plato leading a Seat 1-2 with Luke Hines, and Gavin Smith taking his first ever touring car podium ahead of Dan Eves. Matt Neal taking fifth place and gaining points back from Ivan Muller, who failed to finish, so the gap opens up once again to 30 points between the two championship rivals.
Time now to join our commentators for the third race of the day. It's round 27 of the championship. It's live, and so's Ben.
Thank you very much, Vicky. Yeah, really looking forward to this third and final race of the day. We've had some action here at Silverstone, and Jason Plato has paid the penalty for some of that action, because he starts right down at the back, but he's got some other quick guys around him. Colin Turkington's back there after non-finish in that second race. Ivan Muller's towards the back as well. Let's just quickly look at the lineup. It's Collard and Proctor on the front row. The second row, Tom Chilton and Richard Williams in the Lexus, and his mate Jenson Button here is cheering him on. James Pickford and Fiona Leggett are there on the third row. Matt Neal and Dan Eves on row number 4. Row 5, Gavin Smith and Luke Hines, who's now inherited that win earlier. Ian Curley and Gareth Howell. Ivan Muller and James Kay on row number 7. And then as we get to the back, it's Turkington and Plato. And that's how they line up then for this race at Silverstone. Collard, who was the winner of race 3 of the day at Knockhill last time out, can he do it in dry conditions now in the MG and turn what has been a difficult weekend right on its head? Here we go. Wait for the red lights to come on. And we're racing, and Rob Collard tries to get off the line. Great start from Tom Chilton. The black Honda, who started third, is already putting the pressure on Rob Collard. Mark Proctor made a poor start in the Privateer Astra, the silver and blue car, but it is Collard who leads into the first corner. He's ahead of Tom Chilton. Chilton, though, is one to watch here. He won the earlier race, and running wide there, James Pickford going very wide out of the corner, but Collard versus Chilton, and they're all ganging up on the Lexus there of Williams as they come up towards Beckett's corner. It could get pretty tight here, and Muller and everybody trying to squeeze through at the moment.
Muller's made good progress right from the back. He made another one of his characteristic lightning starts. Poor old Mark Proctor, though, he's gone from the front to the back in 3 corners.
That didn't last long, did it? But Collard is leading. Tom Chilton in second place, Pickford in third place in the Seat. He's chased by Matt Neal. Matt Neal's having a much better run so far in this race. Pickford a little bit wide through there, and the 1 or 2 other visitors to the grass. Pickford's gone very wide. Matt Neal's going to go up the inside. He's going to take third place as they come out of Luffield. He's got his own teammate Gareth Howell right behind him, and Dan Eves, so he's well backed up by his teammates.
Yeah, the 3 Honda Integras running almost in formation. They're ganging up on Pickford. Muller, I can see, making more progress across the start-finish line. He's coming into your picture right behind these 3.
Yeah, he crossed the line in 8th place, and Plato crossed the line in 10th position as we all bounce our way through Copse Corner. And the 3 Team Halfords cars, look at them, all running together at the moment. We're on board with Ivan Muller, though, and he's not far behind as all the action happens ahead. Pickford is the one that's in the group there. Plato's not far behind, 10th position for him at the moment, with his own teammate Luke Hines, who has lost out a little bit on the opening lap. It's still Rob Collard in the MG that leads from Tom Chilton in the Honda Civic, and then it's anybody's guess. It's Matt Neal at the moment in third, Howell in 4th position, then it's Pickford, then Dan Eves, and then Ivan Muller.
Yeah, Gareth Howell running protection. Here he is. You're looking back from Matt Neal's car straight into the eyes of Gareth Howell. He's running protection now for Matt, and he needs to do a good job here.
Yeah, he does, that's right. Matt Neal hoping to score as many points as possible to make... Oh, and off the track has gone Gavin Smith, has run wide there, and the man who had a good podium finish in the last race in trouble in this one. Whether there was contact with someone, I'm not sure. And Matt Neal's gone ever so wide out of Kopp's corner. He's still going, but he's lost a place, several, and Ivan Muller's gone past him.
Well, they've gone right wide over the rumble strip there. That used to be gravel, don't forget. Because it's a Formula 1 circuit, it's now tarmac, it's high grip tarmac. He would have been finished if that had been a gravel track, but what caused the incident, I don't know. Was it cold tyres, or was there some contact?
Yeah, it could have been. There was a big dice going on there, wasn't there? So maybe there was a touch.
But he had Gareth Howell, his teammate, behind him, so there shouldn't have been.
That's true. Well, Howell is still there, isn't he? He's still in the battle. He's running at third, heading this next group with his then James Pickford and Dan Eaves in there too. And Matt Neal having dropped. Oh, and there was a spin in the middle of that, I'm sure. Just further back, one of the Seats got into trouble. Oh, and then Richard Williams is off in the gravel, in the Lexus. And there was a little bit of contact in that mid-pack.
Yeah, and again, it may be, well, there's one of the Seats coming through just into the back of your picture there. It's Luke Hines with a lot of contact, with a lot of damage to the car. He must have been involved. I wouldn't be surprised to see the safety car. There's Hines's car with heavy body damage. Wouldn't be surprised to see the safety car come out.
Well, that's, yeah, you're right, absolutely. As you say, I can see it coming onto circuit, Tim. So, safety car is coming onto circuit. And everybody, of course, will still be racing until they get back to the line, and they'll all still be looking for an advantage to be gained. Rob Collard is the race leader, remember, in the MG, with Tom Chilton in second place, and the safety car will just wait down here by the start-finish line to pick up the pack. Ivan Muller coming through there, and Muller has of course gained thanks to the problem for Neal. He came through in 6th place last time, did the Frenchman, so he's doing okay. Here come the lead pair, and they will be picked up by the safety car as they come across the line this time. Collard and Chilton, and that big advantage that they had will now be negated.
Yeah, and Gareth Howell, who had the gap back to third, he set the fastest lap in the last race, so we know he's going to put on a challenge. He hasn't got Matt Neal behind him. We don't know what happened there to cause Matt to drop back, but he'll gain a little bit here. But the race is certainly going to be on between Collard, Chilton and Howell at the front.
Yeah, it is. It is certainly pretty breathtaking stuff here. Luke Hines into the pits, and I'm pretty sure there was contact between him and the Lexus of Richard Williams. I don't know how it all worked, but a bit of work to be done in the pits, and while the safety cars out there will take advantage of this opportunity to take a quick break. Rob Collard leads the race after on the first lap of the restart. Tom Chilton is keeping the pressure on, though, as they come down towards Brooklands, and Gareth Howell is on the attack as well. Bit of a lock-up there from Tom Chilton, but so far this restarted lap has not changed any positions. It's still Collard, Chilton, Howell, and then James Pickford, Dan Eaves, and Ivan Muller.
Yeah, it was a great restart. Rob Collard did the best he could, but those two Hondas in their two different guises, the Civic of Tom Chilton, and look at that power, look at the car. The Halfords car, the Castrol car, and Gareth Howell, he's got alongside and got the inside.
Yeah, this is a good move by Gareth Howell. He's into second place. He's got past Tom Chilton, and those two guys who started this meeting on the front row together. Remember, Gareth Howell had pole position, and there's the Team Halfords pit keeping a close eye on the progress of their men. And it's now Howell into second. Now he pressurised Plato in the previous race, and his engine then packed up on him when it looked as though he might be able to pass him in the latter stages. Will Howell have a second opportunity to do likewise, this time on the MG of Rob Collard? Under the bridge they come, and Jason Plato's joined into the battle. Chilton's going very tight to the inside, defending his third place from James Pickford. Pickford in the first of the Seats that we can see here, the silver and yellow Seat, fourth position. There he is, James Pickford. Behind him is Dan Eaves, and then it is Ivan Muller ahead of Jason Plato, and then it's Colin Turkington and Matt Neal still running down in 9th place.
Yeah, Gareth Howell's getting better and better as this meeting comes on. He qualified on the front row. This is on board with Jason Plato going through the 100-mile-an-hour Cops corner. 100 miles an hour just there. As you can see, they use all the road and more. Great corner, the only fast corner on this track. But Gareth Howell getting stronger and stronger. He qualified on the front row. He messed up the first race, a little bit of race rustiness. Came good in the second race. Good finish, fastest lap. He now looks like he wants a win.
Yeah, he does, and I tell you what, he's got to watch out, because those Team Halford's cars are going quickly. Dan Eves has just set the fastest lap in this race, and he's running in 5th position. His teammate, of course, is Gareth Howell, who's attacking. He's attacking. No, he can't quite get there. Collard just gets across in front of him in time. It looked tight for a moment, but Howell still second place. Third place for Tom Chilton. Pickford under a bit more pressure there from Eves. And then it's Ivan Muller and Jason Plato.
Well, Rob Collard didn't spend years and years racing on the stock car ovals and not know how to defend a position. He's doing it as perfectly as he can. He's not compromising his speed, but look at the queue behind him. Something's got to give sooner or later.
It's building up, isn't it? And you just wonder where the next move's going to come from. There is Ivan Muller. He's ahead of his big rival, Matt Neal, in terms of the championship. Of course, Matt Neal coming into this race with a useful advantage, but Matt can't wrap it up here at Silverstone. It will go all the way to the wire at Brands Hatch, no matter what happens in this race. But Matt Neal knows that Ivan Muller's been in fighting form here at Silverstone, and he'll still want to move up from his current 9th position. He's just behind Colin Turkington in 8th place, and they've dropped away from this group, and here comes Howell again. Has a look down the inside. Ooh, brake locking. You almost wonder whether it wasn't going to go wrong there.
It's so difficult. That is, oh, he's got an overlap. That was really good. Brilliant, brilliant move. I don't know why Rob Collard left the door open, but, well, Gareth was in there so quickly.
That was excellent stuff. Oh, there's a little bit of a touch. Careful, boys. And Gareth Howell makes sure that he cuts across to the inside there. Now we're riding on board Rob Collard. He's just lost the lead. Can he get it straight back? It's always the ideal situation. Go straight back past the other guy. Sliding there, Howell. Look at the back end of the car working.
He was hard on the power. He didn't stay on the brakes for very long, did he? Jumped back on the power and really drove that car through the corner. Pulled out a few lengths. That locking of the rear wheel, don't worry about that. The rear wheel's virtually off the ground on the brakes anyway, so it doesn't do any damage. Gets a good exit, and now let's watch his speed down the straight.
It should be fast. The Team Halford's Honda Integras have been fast in a straight line, although that MG's looking pretty quick as well. Four-cylinder engine producing plenty of power, and Rob Collard attacking still in second place. Then it's Chilton, then it's Pickford. Pickford coming under a bit more pressure from Dan Eves in the second orange car, and then Ivan Muller and Jason Plato, of course, the two great rivals, not only of this year but of past years, are separated by the proverbial cigarette paper, nothing to choose between them, and then quite some way behind them, Matt Neal has got past Colin Turkington, so at least he's gained that place, but he's a long way behind this group.
Yeah, Matt hasn't been able to keep up after the restart. That closed them all up and should have given him a chance to get back on the group. That's Pickford. He's off there for the 3rd time. He did it twice in the A-Laps, and Plato behind him. Maybe it's a new Seat line.
Yeah, he's got to watch out though, isn't he? Because it doesn't do him any favours at all. He's lost that place now to Dan Eves as a result of it, and Dan Eves is now into 4th position. And Gareth Howell, you know, is beginning to open up an advantage here. Race leader doing well. We're on board with Ivan Muller. He's just seen Dan Eves go past the car ahead of him, James Pickford. So now the Frenchman wants to do likewise. Moves to the outside of the track, and he's going to try and cut back on the exit. Maybe can carry a bit more speed, but not quite, and he's going to have to stay in line here, but any little mistake from anybody and he's going to be straight through.
Yeah, that wide line that Plato took should have picked up some rubbish on his tyres, but he seems to have cleaned it off very quickly and got back into contention. But here you can see Muller's problem. He's coming off the corners really well, but just hasn't got the legs down the straight. The hatchback version slightly slower. Has he got up the inside? Has he got into pit 5 wide again?
Yeah, Pickford making a mistake through Kopp's corner, and I think Ivan Muller, oh, he's alongside. Can he make the move stick? He's on the inside line now for Beckett's. He should be able to do this. Yep, he's through on the inside, and Pickford's going to lose another place, as Plato's also going to go past his own teammate there. And Pickford, I don't know whether he's got a problem with the car, but he just keeps going that little bit too wide.
Yeah, he's seen it from the start of the race. I thought it was just cold tyres, but he's consistently run wider and wider. Now Jason Plato's got that little gap. He's got through as well. The eyes are in the 3rd eye degree of openness, for 3rd race openness, and he's getting faster and faster. Pickford's fighting back, but Plato's got the inside line.
Yeah, he should be settled now there, Plato. I think he's got that position, and Pickford's just going to have to think about it again. Behind him is that little gap back. Now, Matt Neal's done well over the last couple of laps. He's beginning to close up to this group, and in fact, he was the fastest man on circuit last time around. So Matt Neal now beginning to make his presence felt, but he is currently in 8th position. Can he do something more than that? His rival, Ivan Muller, is currently in 5th, but look at Gareth Howell. He's driving superbly. He's got in front of Collard, and now it's Collard under pressure from Tom Chilton.
Yeah, Chilton's getting very close on the brakes. I think Rob's been struggling, his style and the car. He works the front tyres very hard indeed, and maybe he's going to struggle with a bit of understeer, which is going to cost him on the brakes and into the corners at the end of this race.
Ross up beneath the bridge they go once more, and Collard and Chilton, nothing to choose between them as Chilton looks to overtake the MG, and Luke Hines has got damage to the back of his car, and the black and orange flag is going to be displayed, so he's got to come into the pits and have that attended to. So disappointment for Luke Hines. He did inherit the race win from race 2 here today, but race 3's not gone according to plan. Second and third place men cross the line then. 15 laps out of the new race distance, 25 laps completed now. We go on to lap number 16, and still Rob Collard is holding Tom Chilton behind him, and this is all allowing Gareth Howell to make a bit of a break, and he might have been a bit race rusty in the first race of the day here. Knockhill, of course, was quite different. It was wet and slippery all day long. This is the first time that Gareth Howell has been racing the car in the dry. He said he was rusty in the first race, but look at the gap that he's managed to open up. We're looking from second place man Rob Collard. Gareth Howell doesn't look rusty at all now, does he?
He doesn't look too shabby at all. He's suddenly leading a touring car race and looking for his first victory.
Oh, it's a great effort, and if he can just hang on there. Interesting, slight difference in the braking there, carrying the brakes into the corner. Rob very late on the brakes into Brooklands, but still he's holding Chilton behind him, and then behind Chilton it's Dan Eves and Ivan Muller, remember.
Rob Collard's done a fantastic job, really. He led this race for a long time, and I do think that Chilton's car's a faster car, and Rob's really driving his heart out. We saw how determined he looked just on the opening lap, driving out to the grid, and he's really driving well, because I do believe Chilton's car is faster.
Yeah, the Hondas are looking very strong here at Silverstone, and Howell proving that in the Team Halfords version, the Castle-backed car, as Rob Collard comes down towards Beckett's. Again, he doesn't leave a gap. He can't afford to run wide in the corner, and he doesn't. Neat and tidy, clips the inside curve, goes right out to the white line, slightly over it. Seems to be the standard line here today, and then heading back down the National Straight towards that left-hander where it can be so easy to brake, just that fraction too late, and if you do, you can end up in the gravel. That's what happened to Dan Eves earlier on today. Now, further back, James Pickford and Matt Neal are engaged in a little tussle. We said that Matt Neal was closing up to that group, and meanwhile, Pickford has dropped away.
Yeah, Pickford's laps have been getting slower, and Matt's been actually getting faster, so he's really picked up on him now, but just how much risk is he going to take for one extra place?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? He may not be able to wrap up the title here today, but he can go away with a good, comfortable advantage and get it all wrapped up at Brands early on. Down towards Copse Corner now, and Turkington versus Kay, that is for 9th place. Colin Turkington in the Vauxhall, currently in 9th. James Kay in the Synchro Honda. He is lying in 10th position. Fastest lap in this race, remember, has already been set by the race leader, Gareth Howell. I don't think anyone's going to go quicker than that. Now the tyre wear is becoming a factor in the sort of latter stages of this race. 17.5 laps have been completed out of the 25. It's looking good at the moment for Gareth Howell, but don't forget he was in second and he had an engine failure in the last race, so he'll be crossing everything.
Anything can happen, but I mean, he knows he's got the pace, he's got a little bit of a lead. He can short shift if he likes, just by a 50 or 100 revs. The one thing those Honda engines don't like is running on the limiter and over revving, so he's going to be ever so careful, but it's a long way to go for him in his first victory, and he'll be listening to every noise that car's making.
Yes, he will. It's a bit of a nerve-wracking time for him. There is that battle for second. Rob Collard and Tom Chilton. And Chilton, who won the first race of the day here under quite a lot of pressure from James Pickford, didn't put a wheel wrong. Then, of course, he had that very exciting time in race number 2 when he was pitched into a spin on the fastest section of the track on the main National Straight. The end of this straight they're coming onto by Jason Plato. Still recovered to get a finish and earn a good grid spot for this one. But can Tom work this one out? I wonder if he can just find a little chink in Collard's armour, the chink that Gareth Howell found, perhaps. Because
well, the thing is that Rob is so late on the brakes, it's really hard to pass. He brakes really, really late. And, I mean, what happened when Gareth got past him was he just made a little mistake.
let's just see how Matt Neal passed James Pickford. This was just a moment ago. That was into Copse corner, and again it was Pickford at Copse.
That car just doesn't have the grip and the stability in that fast corner. Whether the driver feels it's going to oversteer and he has to take a wider line to hold on to it. But Rob, you know, the only way Chilton's going to get through is if Rob makes that little mistake. He's braking so late anyway, he's right on the limit. It isn't going to take much for him to run on wide, but it's so hard to pass here into Beckett's. It's easy to defend. Rob takes a line that goes directly to the apex. That little lock-up is right, but look, he doesn't run wide, so he still gets a good exit. Gareth got past him because he ran in too deep into Luffield, and that's the sort of pressure that Chilton's trying to put on him again.
Yeah, but he's got to watch out as Chilton, because Dan Eves is right there too, so he can't afford to do anything too dramatic because Dan will take advantage of it. Howell has opened up a 1.5 second advantage here, and the third driver for the team is doing everything that Steve Neal, the team boss, asked of him. And there is a little chance for Chilton. He makes a touch of contact with the back of Rob Collard's car. That was the place that Howell found a gap earlier in this race, and Rob was determined not to leave it this time.
Yeah, I think Tom was trying to just encourage him wide a little bit so he could get his nose inside for the exit, but Rob wasn't having anything on it. As I say, he knows how to defend.
He does, yes, and Dan Eves is there in place. Ivan Muller can't do much. He's stuck in 5th place. Doesn't seem to be able to close up on these three. He's just dropped away slightly. He's got Plato behind him. Bit of stalemate there, and then there's only one other car, well, it's just Plato between him and Matt Neal, so Matt Neal is not going to lose more than a couple of points here to Ivan Muller. He's going to go away from Silverstone still with a very comfortable championship advantage, and for a rather tense and nervous looking Matt Neal, he'll be very, very pleased if it stays this way, just to keep finishing the races. That's his objective at the moment. Collard and Tom Chilton, 2nd and 3rd, and then Dan Eves. It's again tight. Chilton closes right up to the back of the MG there. Didn't quite run into him. Looked like he might do for a moment, but kept it clean. Lights ablaze, but it's not putting Rob Collard off at all. He's got his head down. He might have lost the lead, but he's determined to hold on to 2nd place. And now they've crossed the line. It's 21 laps completed. We move on to lap number 22 out of 25 into the closing stages. Who's going to pull something off? There's Matt Neal, and Matt Neal currently running in 7th place, and that's pretty much as good as we've seen him here today, but it's still enough to maintain that championship advantage. Another little tiny lock-up. Chilton thinks there might be a gap, but no, there isn't. Collard's still tidy.
No, Collard's still braking late and still getting his apexes, but he's either going to take a little assist from Tom, or that mistake that hasn't been coming yet for him to get past. But it may just be that with Eves right up behind, something's going to happen. It may be that Eves has a go at Chilton because he gets frustrated, and that could give Tom a break, give Rob a break at the front.
Yeah, well, let's just ride with Rob Collard here a second. Gareth Howell up ahead, and his advantage is now up to just over 2 seconds. This is a real demonstration drive from Gareth Howell, but there is the view of Rob Collard in 2nd. He's not looking too much in the mirrors, is he? He waited till he got right out of Woodcote, that sort of gentle curve that comes onto pit straight, before he glanced in the mirrors. Just look as though he feels desperately under pressure. But Ivan Muller and Jason Plato are very close to one another. When you get these two as close as this, you can always look for some fireworks.
Yes, although I think that Jason's had his ardour cooled a little bit by obviously being disqualified from the last race, so I wouldn't expect Jason to be as forceful as perhaps people are used to seeing, and some enjoy seeing.
Yeah, maybe just reining himself in a little bit. Here we are riding with Jason Plato. This was the area of the track where he had that incident with Chilton. Not close enough to attack Muller here. Onto the brakes late, and there's no way that he can get alongside, so he follows the Vauxhall dutifully through the left-hander. 2001 they had a coming together here when Muller had a misfire, and Plato gave him a big old shove and actually got penalised for it. He won the race, but was dropped down the order because of shoving Ivan Muller along. Hopefully there won't be any repeat of that. He's already had his penalty today. Howell across the line then, just 2 laps to go now, and Gareth Howell could be on for his first ever touring car win at the same track, different layout that Tom Chilton took his first win here last year. It looks as though Gareth Howell could well take his first victory. What a performance, and he's driven superbly all day long. So unlucky in race 2 when that engine let go on him, but he's come through in race number 3. Sat behind Collard in the early stages, found the little gap that he needed, and he's pulled away ever since. And now really it's just a question of whether Collard's defences are going to remain as impenetrable to Tom Chilton as they have been so far in this race.
Well, it's getting near the end of the race. Driver's getting a little bit tired. This is perhaps where mistakes come in, but Rob's been really controlling this one very, very coolly.
Yeah, it's good to see. You know, we always talk about the extra confidence a win gives the driver. I'm not sure it makes much difference to Rob because he's won races in all sorts of categories, but it's always got to make you feel relaxed. There's the Team Halford's pit crew, and Howell's people will be just so pleased if they can come through and take the win. They might not have wrapped up the championship here today, but Gareth Howell is heading for his first ever win. We're on the final lap. He's only got a few corners to go. Behind them it's still Collard and Chilton and Dan Eves. There's no change there, and unless Chilton takes a really big risk coming into the last couple of corners, I don't think he's going to be able to get through and take second place. So he's just going to have to settle for third. But Gareth Howell, how must he be feeling in that car right now? He's had to sit out most of this season, but the 24-year-old from Bromley has driven so well here today. He's into the final proper corner at Luffield. Chilton can't attack. It's going to be victory for Gareth Howell, the youngster who started racing when he was only 8 years old in karts, and he's come through to take his first ever win in touring cars. Brilliant drive by Gareth Howell. Second place goes to Rob Collard. Third to Tom Chilton. Dan Eves finishes in fourth, and then it's Ivan Muller, Jason Plato and Matt Neal. So Muller finishes only 2 places ahead of Matt Neal. Not much change in terms of the points on offer and the points available, and Matt Neal will go to Brands Hatch with a comfortable points advantage and look to wrap up the championship there. But what a great drive by Gareth Howell. Excellent, excellent effort, Tim.
It was a fantastic drive. Delighted to see him. He's been under pressure. He's produced the goods in qualifying, but his race form was a bit rusty. It looked to be getting better. He looked better all the way through this meeting. Drove a beautiful race. That man too also drove a great race, Rob Collard, under extreme pressure. But I'm delighted for Gareth. His first victory is very special. I had 16 of them. I enjoyed every one of them. I hope he goes on to beat my record, but delighted for him.
Yeah, great stuff. So he's going to make the most of this slowdown lap and celebrate. Tom Chilton, no doubt, will congratulate him too, having taken his first win here last year. I think that's just about perfect. Gareth Howell then, the winner from Rob Collard, the gap 1.6 seconds. Chilton in third place, ahead of Dan Eves, Ivan Muller, Plato, Matt Neal, James Pickford, Colin Turkington and James Kay, and that's how they finished round 27 of the championship. Great stuff from everybody, and we'll be right back with all of the interviews and talking to the drivers in a moment. In fact, Vicky will be down in the pits, so we'll get a chance to hear from a very happy Gareth Howell, no doubt. This is how he managed to get past Rob Collard. Collard just opened up the door enough, and Gareth Howell was able to go through on the inside. There was that little touch between them which could have ended in disaster, but in fact it all worked out okay, and Howell was through, and it was only that one little gap that Rob Collard allowed him, and it was all he needed because he didn't need a second invitation. Gareth Howell was straight through, and that really was the move of the race, because from there on he just led all the rest of the race to take the victory. And for Team Halfords, of course, well, it's been a slightly difficult day for them in many ways, but they've sorted it out on this occasion. Let's go down to the pits and Vicky's with their team boss, Steve Neal.
Oh, Steve, this is a great moment. Gareth looks absolutely over the moon.
Obviously, it's more than 0 to hero. This is from nowhere to superstar, this guy. I tell you what, I've got to get him signed up for the rest of his life on something.
And just a few words about Matt Neal and the championship.
Status as it was, I think. We've just moved up and down throughout the weekend, and I think a bit of nerves is coming into play, and he made a mistake. Unusual for Matt. So we go to Brands.
Right, I'm just going to try and grab a quick word with Gareth. Thank you very much indeed, Steve. Gareth. Very happy man. I'm going to have to interrupt you if I may. Gareth, absolutely fantastic. How about that and fastest lap? Just a quick word.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Oh, just unbelievable. You know, it's been a long, long, hard slog. And the last 2 years especially have been hard. But none of that matters now.
Yes, you do. You had a lovely move upside Rob Collard and a great win. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Vic.
Okay, well, we will be back with the final round of this season's championship in a fortnight's time. The action from Brands Hatch is from 3:30 p.m. on October the 2nd.